Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, the GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we're about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 153. Please turn to it. Page number 153, and today is our lesson number 255. Problem number 9 is what we are about to solve. Problem number 9 is what we are about to solve. But before we actually do problem number 9, let's look at a couple of simple scenarios, a couple of simple problems. See if we can figure out the value of this quantity, square root of 0.0081. How do we go about figuring out the square root of 0.0081? So here's the trick to it. Here's what we do. Take this quantity of 0.0081, and our goal, of course, we know what the square root of 81 is. Square root of 81 is 9. So our goal is somehow make this into a whole numbers. How do we make it into whole numbers? Well, we need to multiply it. We need to multiply it by 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to move the decimal place 4 spots. So let's multiply the top and bottom by 10 raised to 4 and 10 raised to 4. And since we are multiplying this quantity by 10 raised to 4 and dividing it by the same quantity, essentially we are multiplying this quantity by 1. So it doesn't actually change anything. So now 0.0081 times 10 raised to 4. 10 raised to 4 allows us to move this decimal 4 spot and becomes 81. So on the top we end up with 81, and on the bottom we end up with 10 raised to 4. And that's very easy to figure out the square root of. Let me rewrite this thing. This did not come out very nice. So that's very easy to figure out the square root of now. So the square root of 0.0081 is same as the square root of 81 over 10 raised to 4. The square root of 81 is 9, and the square root of 10 raised to 4 is just 10 squared. That's what we're done. It's 9 over 10 squared, or 9 over 100 if you like, or 0.09. However they express the answers in the exam, however the answer choices are laid out in front of you. Let's do one more, shall we? Let's do one more. Square root of this time we're going to do cube root. Cube root of 0.000027. Why don't you pause the video at this point, see if you can figure out the cube root of this quantity using the same logic, same technique, it's the same method that we just employed a second ago, and see if you can do it on your own. I'll give you 5 seconds to pause and unpause the video, okay? Alright, let's see what we can do. Again, we know what the cube root of 27 is. Cube root of 27 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Finding the cube root of 27 is pretty straightforward. The question is, how do we get 27 out of this thing? Well, ask yourself, how many decimal places do we need to move here? Let's start here. 0.000027. How many decimal places do we need to move? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's multiply the top and the bottom by 10 raised to 6. Now top part 10 raised to 6 times this quantity allows us to move the decimal place 6 spots up to here. It becomes 27. So on the top we end up with 27, and on the bottom we end up with 10 raised to 6. And now figuring out the cube root is a cinch. I hope I use the right expression. Cube root of 27 is just 3, and cube root of 10 raised to 6, cube root of 10 raised to 6 is just 10 squared. Again we end up with 3 over 100, or 0.03, depending on how the answer choices are laid out again one more time. That's all. Let's do one more. Let's do one more and then we'll do the actual problem. Again, we'll figure out the cube root. Cube root of 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 5. The same exact logic will apply. There is nothing to it. Again, pause the video, do it yourself, and then compare your work against the work that we'll do together in a couple of seconds. Just give me 1 second. Same exact logic will apply, nothing will change. We have 0.000125. Well, we know what cube root of 125 is. I hope you know that. 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. So the cube root of 125 is just 5. The question is, how do we get 125 out of it? Well, it's very simple. We need to move the decimal spots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need to move the decimal place by 6 spots, 6 places. We do that by multiplying the top and the bottom by 10 raised to 6. The rest is downhill. So now we end up with 125 on the top, 10 raised to 6 on the bottom, and now we take the cube root. Very simple, very straightforward. Cube root of 125. The cube root of 125 we just found out was 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. And the cube root of 10 raised to 6 is 10 squared. Now we are ready to do the problem that is given to us in the book. Okay? So here's the problem. I'm going to put it on the blackboard, and then I would like you to try it again on your own. Pause the video. The only thing different that is in the book is that there we have a cube root and a square root. But we did that already. We did the problem with the square root. We did the problem with the cube root. So it's very straightforward. Just use the same logic. Number 9. We have to figure out the square root of the cube root of 0.00064. Now, for the time being, I'll tell you what, I won't say a word. I'm going to be quiet for about 3-4 seconds to allow you to pause and unpause the video. I would like you to try it out on your own first, okay? Here's what we do. We have to do this problem in 2 steps. First, we worry about the cube root part. Don't worry about the square root part. Let's just first worry about the cube root of 0.000064. Well, we know what cube root of 64 is. 64 is very easy. 64 is simply 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Cube root of 64 is 4. How do we get 64 out of it? Well, very straightforward. Same thing as what we did before. 0.00064. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Multiply the top and the bottom by 10 raised to 6. By doing so, we end up with 64 on the top, 10 raised to 6 on the bottom. Now we take the cube root. Cube root of 64 is 4. Cube root of 10 raised to 6 is 100. That part is done. Now we'll go back and insert our square root sign. Let's see if I can find a different color. I want a red marker. If you just give me a second, I'll find a red one. What do you know? To hell with it, I can't find the red marker. Let's use the green one. Take the square root, and now take the square root of this quantity, which is same as taking the square root of this quantity. Which square root of 4, square root of 4 is just 2, and the square root of 100 is just 10. So we end up with 0.2 or 1/5. how do they answer? How do they lay out the answers? 0.2 is the answer. That's all. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.